Just returned from the delegation that went to 6 European nations, taking India's message to the rest of the world is Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray's Member of Parliament Priyanka Chaturvedi, joining me on the News Hour special. Thank you very much for joining me, Priyanka. How do you evaluate the success of the delegation's outreach efforts across to 6 nations that you visited?
So I can say one thing with confidence, Navika, that all the nations that we traveled to absolutely understood where India stands in its war against terror, where Pakistan stands in aiding, abetting and weaponizing the entire terrorism network globally, as well as expressing total solidarity for India's right to respond. And moreover, their concern also being that this is something that they're seeing reach to their doorstep too. This is something even we made them aware that for decades we have been fighting this war against terror. It's time that even other regions understand that this terrorism coming to their doorstep too, through indoctrination, through radicalism, fundamentalism, and it was a reflection of intolerance that we saw in the Pahalgam terror attack, where Asim Munir had categorically said that Hindus and Muslims can't stay together. That is why the two-nation theory. His inner Jinnah probably awoke in him when he made those comments, which was followed with a similar attack, the Pahalgam terror attack, where people were asked of their religion and shot dead. So they tried to divide the nation, but the nation stood united. So that is the one strong message that we sent. We told Europe that we all stood united despite all the ideas coming out of Pakistan of intolerance, and that intolerance will reach their doorstep too. Those who can't tolerate any other religion, or who are formed on the basis of a whole set of lies about promoting their religion, are the ones who are the biggest danger to the world.
So Priyanka Chaturvedi, you said that the country demonstrated that they are united. That's the message we have given abroad. But do you think that message is understood back home? You represent an opposition party. Let's just say politics in our country is extremely polarized. In fact, many people have even questioned the need for such delegations to have gone abroad. Do you actually believe that this delegations and this whole strategy of sending different delegations to different parts of the world with representatives from all political parties actually was something that was needed at this time?
So starting with your last question first, yes, I think this outreach was needed simply because we are living in the times of information warfare, and we saw how Pakistan was misusing the mode of communication using video war game footage to show that they were winning. We saw an army general promote himself to field marshal, and we saw them making a whole narrative about how they are the victims of terrorism, which was absolutely ridiculous. They have been exporting terror to the world. Osama bin Laden was found in their territory while they were promising United States of America that they were partners in fighting terrorism. So Pakistan needed to be exposed on a global platform, and I think this was an attempt made. And I would say that when we had the all-party meeting post Pahalgam as well as post Operation Sindoor, all the opposition parties were united with regards to whatever steps that the government takes. And our mission, our delegations that went abroad had all the political parties from the opposition also represented. So that was a part that we have fulfilled to the rest of the world, that we stand against terrorism totally united. And though I as a member of the opposition, I'm speaking on foreign platforms, I'm only making the world aware that India has suffered the brunt of it under various governments. And we will not tolerate it any further, because we are a growing economy, we are focusing on our trade, we are focusing on employing our young, we are a nation which is looking towards becoming from the 4th largest to a 3rd largest economy in the world, while they are busy exporting terror, and that we won't tolerate this anymore. Having said that, we must also understand and be aware of the fact that we live in a democracy. At home, we are going to have questions. That's the responsibility of the opposition. Please don't forget, Navika, you've covered it extensively. The 26/11 terror attacks that happened in Mumbai saw the Home Minister of the country resign. We saw the Chief Minister resign. So there's an accountability that people of the country expect of us, and people expect the opposition to seek that accountability. How it's being played out domestically should not be compared to what we are doing internationally. internationally we stand united as Indians. And that was conveyed emphatically in the all-party meeting by all the opposition parties.
So do you really believe, Priyanka Chaturvedi, considering that you've had extensive briefings, you've spoken as part of the delegation to foreign powers, do you really believe that India surrendered? Because Rahul Gandhi has been using this term, Narendra surrender. Do you really believe India actually surrendered? And is that not, something that is a passing of a judgment on the Indian Defence Forces?
No, as far as India's defence forces concerned and armed forces are concerned, absolute salute and respect to them for ensuring that they did not escalate the entire, the things that were being played out. Their attack was very precise, very contained, and it was targeted towards the terror camps emanating out of Pakistan, terror camps that have been designated by United Nations as terror camps and headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Al-Qaeda. So it was a very measured response. What Pakistan Army did in response to save its terror camps was something we had to respond to. Again, that was a very measured response to ensuring that civilians did not come under the line of fire, that we acted like a responsible nation. And of course, no nation which is looking towards an economic growth story or economic growth trajectory would want to indulge in a long drawn out war like probably Israel is doing or probably Russia is doing. And it is for us to understand that Pakistan is not a country we would want to even engage with or in any format, in any way. We have just two unfinished business with Pakistan. One is the POK issue and one is the terrorism issue, which we will deal with in a best way that the armed forces deem fit, and the government, irrespective of the political parties who are at the helm and who are responsible for India's national security.
But do you believe it was surrender? Yes or no?
No, I will not want to get into this line of questioning. Please, I can only respond to what my party is saying and what my party asked me to do. My party sent me to as part of the delegation, and please also, Bala Saheb Thackeray ji was very emphatic about what he thought of Pakistan and terrorism emanating out of Pakistan. He did not want even economic trade with Pakistan. Our party was the one which dug up the pitch to ensure that there were no cricket ties with Pakistan. We were also a party which said there cannot be no track to diplomacy. There cannot be people-to-people conversation till Pakistan is not held accountable. I come from the state of Maharashtra, which has been at the receiving end of terrorism because it happens to be the financial state capital of the country. So we understand what terrorism does to lives and livelihoods. And we won't tolerate any more terrorism emanating out of Pakistan, which disrupts human lives as well as our economic growth story. So if you ask me about what my party says, I have done my job for my party as someone who was nominated to represent the party internationally.
But phrases like Mukhbir, Gaddar, Parajay Shankar, Narendra surrender, do you think this really adds to the message that India is trying to send to the world as far as zero tolerance on terror is concerned? Yes, I understand there is democracy, I understand opposition will raise questions. But to call your own government, even if it is another political party, calling them Parajay Shankar, calling them Gaddar, do you think politics really needs to go that route?
No, again, I will repeat to you what the message that we needed to convey to the world has been conveyed emphatically by sending these 7 delegations which had members of the opposition, former ministers from the Congress party who went to different regions of the world, different parts of the world, 55 members of parliament carrying just one single message across that there is zero tolerance to terrorism and we are united in our effort. How this is being played out domestically, again, we can continue to argue about this, about the words used, the name calling, etc. And it can become a whole lot of whataboutery. But let's not forget what our aim is, what our goal is. Our goal is to ensure that there are no intelligence failures happening henceforth. We make our intelligence networks foolproof. Not a single Pakistani terror attack or a terrorism emanating from Pakistan or individual coming from Pakistan who comes with the idea of trying to create disruption in India should be tolerated, and we will all work towards it. Sometimes questioning the government also helps strengthening the governments to be able to have a response towards national security.
But Priyanka Chaturvedi, your own party colleague said ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बाद की डेलीगेशंस, ये तो बारात जा रही है. योर एक्स कॉलीग फ्रॉम द कांग्रेस पार्टी जयराम रमेश सेड टेररिस्ट वहां घूम रहे हैं, डेलीगेशंस यहां घूम रही हैं. Distasteful politics, would you say?
No, again, Jairam Ramesh is not an ex-colleague. He's very much a colleague in the Rajya Sabha with me, even if he's from my
ex-colleague from the Congress, I meant.
Keep reminding me of and keep asking me answers for. That is something I won't be. Yeah, I won't be able to answer that question. That's for the Congress party to answer. We are in alliance with them. We are not a surrendered party to the alliance. So we have our opinion. We will express our opinion as and where it seems fit. But this question would be best answered by someone from the Congress party, not really from me.
Come on now, Priyanka, you've taken your role as a member of the delegation too seriously. You're being more diplomatic than the diplomats themselves. Ajay Kumar even said, पता नहीं कितने कपड़े सिलवा लिए. तो कितने कपड़े सिलवा लिए थे आपने जाने से पहले जो अजय कुमार बड़े नोटिस कर रहे थे?
Now again, I don't know what he noticed and what he saw, and I've also given an opinion on this. I respect Ajay Kumarji a lot. His work in the role of a police officer is well applauded back home in Jharkhand. I wouldn't want to get into that, and I'm sure he understands the challenges of enforcing law and order. He also understands the challenges of how to maintain peace and stability when you are given that role. For him to say what he did was extremely unfortunate, and I'm sure he'll revisit his comments on this, because I don't know if any single member of parliament went with the idea of wanting to have a gala time while on a very serious diplomatic mission for the nation. Y'all can continue to argue whether it was successful, not successful. You can continue to argue whether it had any impact or no impact. I'll be happy to answer those. But to say, oh, kapde silwa kar gaye aur ye sab kar gaye, I think it's a bit misplaced, and I'm sure he will revisit his comments.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, one comment of yours that went extremely viral when you really did that takeoff on Bilawal Bhutto. I really, as they say, on public demand. What was the point that you made, and can you please repeat it for the Indian audiences here?
No, I don't think I'll be able to repeat any performance that I did what I did, because it was at that heat of the moment where I needed to actually explain the context. Who is leading the delegation and who is defending the army terrorist nexus in Pakistan? It is a man who has suffered, the similar nexus, assassinating his own mother, assassinating his own grandfather. An elected Prime Minister, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was jailed in a coup by General Zia-ul-Haq. He was also killed inside the jail, and General Zia-ul-Haq took over. When elections were to be brought back into Pakistan, and when Benazir Bhutto, after her exile in London, returned back to Pakistan to campaign for her party, she was killed because of this very same Islamic jihad nexus that was left behind by General Zia-ul-Haq. And for him to now defend and come forward and present a narrative to the world which no world leader was buying, or would have probably met them or taken them at face value, made me react the way I did, because the context was very important. You cannot say बुज़दिल रात में हमले करते हैं, क्योंकि बुज़दिली तो आपने हमेशा दिखाई है. पिछले 1947 से लेकर अब तक जो आपने कायरता से हमारे सिविलियंस पे, निहत्तों पे आक्रमण किया है, वो बुज़दिली होती है. बुज़दिली वो होती है जो उनके ग्रैंडफादर ने सहन की है. बुज़दिली वो होती है जिसमें उनकी मदर की डेथ हुई है. बुज़दिल वो लोग होते हैं. So I had to respond to that, and that is why I did what I did, because and
but
I'm glad
actually,
that people
yes,
of the country could connect.
कौन रात के अंधेरे में आते हैं? बुज़दिल रात के अंधेरे में आते हैं, and it's
his speech on the floor of the House in Hindi, while it was full of grammatical errors, also missed the total context of how Pakistan needs to be accountable, which was कौन रात के समय पे हमले करते हैं, चोर रात के समय पे हमले करते हैं, बुज़दिल रात के समय पे हमले करते हैं. अगर इनमें हिम्मत होता तो वो आकर हमसे सीधा हमला करते. Something like that he said, the last sentence I don't remember clearly, but this is how he put it out, and which honestly needed to be called out, and I I just kind of couldn't help but imitate what he spoke and how he spoke.
Yes, you did call him out. But what do you really think about Bilawal Bhutto? Did you cross his path any time in these delegation visits anywhere that he was simultaneously there? Have you interacted with him? What do you really, if I were to ask you, give me your analysis of Bilawal Bhutto, what would you say?
No, I think in his attempt to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan, this is my reading of it. He is willing to even defend the corrupt nexus of army and terrorists which have taken the lives of his mother, and also should realize that even if he does become the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the date of his becoming a Prime Minister till the end of his tenure will be decided by the army generals, because there is no democratic structure in Pakistan. It is all governed by the army and the terrorist nexus that prevails, and it is the army which will reign supreme. So instead of calling that hypocrisy out, and instead of being able to stand as a tall leader for the people of Pakistan, for the civilians of Pakistan, for the betterment of Pakistan, for the economic growth of Pakistan, would have expected a young leader to be able to do that. Unfortunately, and honestly, I have no intention of crossing his path or even wanting to engage till the time better sense prevails. However, I don't see, whatever meetings that I have seen of the delegation having, they haven't really met leaders who can change the narrative or shape the narrative for Pakistan. Clearly, he was cold-shouldered in United States of America. He might meet a similar challenge in the rest of the places that they're planning to visit.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, we are also looking at 11 years of the Modi Sarkar. And I want to ask you, how do you rate the performance of this Sarkar, given the fact that internal security and response to terrorism, especially the recent action against Maoist terrorists as well, how would you rate them?
No, out of the 11 years, I must say that 10 years belong to the BJP, and it's the 11th year which they have put together as NDA. People have already given them a report card in 2024 elections. And the result is for all to see. They were not given the 400 seats that was their war cry for that election. They gave them a seat, less than the number of simple majority that they were seeking. So having said that, I think, of course, for national security and for internal security purposes, whatever action is taken will always find support across political spectrum, whether it was in the Congress regime or whether it is now. And if the Maoist terror can end, I think that would be the biggest, I would say, sense of justice for a nation which is looking towards a growth trajectory. Having said that, there have been certain issues which obviously we will continue to address. We will continue to ask, because of while we speak today, we've seen violence erupt all over again in Manipur. We also have to keep our vision very clear about internal security and intelligence failures that have happened over the years, and many such commitments that were made to the people of the country, whether it is the women, whether it is the farmers, whether it is the youth of the country. There's a lot of work that still needs to be put in for them to be able to even live up to the promises made during the 2014 general election. So I wouldn't want to speak much, simply because this was more about Operation Sindoor and what our armed forces have managed to achieve, and the new paradigm that we have brought to our fight against terror, and my visit. But however, having said that, there are a lot of commitments that have been made to the people, and I just hope they live up to it.
Well, on that note, thank you very much, Priyanka Chaturvedi. Thank you for joining me on this edition of the News Hour Special. We wish you well, and we will catch up on politics sooner than later. Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you so much.